Happy Easter, everyone. This is the Easter egg edition, episode 134 of Downtime Podcast. I'm Alyssa.
I'm Jeremy.
And we have some breaking news, which broke, I want to say, maybe 5 days ago, but it broke on Wednesday. But we're finally getting to talk about today, and that has to do with the PlayStation 5 controller and how ugly it is.
You know, I've had a couple friends who were like, "This is beautiful. It's awesome. I really like the design of the controller." And you know, the more I take a look at it, I'm like, "What's it gonna look like when I'm holding it? How's it gonna feel?" And at the end of the day, I feel like I don't like it.
It reminds me of a very old Xbox 360 controller.
Okay.
In terms of the way that it's shaped and the way that it looks. This looks like a first draft of an Xbox controller. In terms of the way that it looks.
It looks like a prototype of a car.
You know how everyone was really confused last year around October whether or not the developer kit of the PlayStation 4 is actually just the developer kit or what the console will really look like.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel right now.
You're like, this can't be the final design.
Yeah, I'm just like, this isn't it, right?
Yeah. Was this published on April Fools? You know?
No.
No, it got published 6 days after, so it's pretty real.
The shape of it, I think I'm okay in terms of the way that the handles are shaped. Okay, I'm holding my controller right now, my PlayStation 4 controller, and it feels pretty comfortable to how it's shaped within my grasp. So the one thing that seems different, like at least based off of this design, is it's like a little bit more curved. There might be a tiny bit more real estate holding it on your palms. Just based off of the way that the handles look. I'm not, and you know, this might not even, it might actually be the regular size of a DualShock 4. But what gets me is the fact that they're still, they decided to keep the trackpad for the new PlayStation 5 controller.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, is not called DualShock 5. It's called Dualsense.
Right. It seems like they're trying to go in a different direction with the naming. They're trying to break away from the stereotypes that they've always had.
Yeah. There's a lot of really interesting things going on in terms of the decisions of the look of the PlayStation 5 as well as the way that it's being marketed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think another thing that, see, I can't tell right now when I'm holding it when I'm holding my controller sideways and looking at the sideways image of the article that I have pulled up, it looks like it's thicker.
Yeah.
So
it does.
Yeah, because the PlayStation 4 controller, it's not as light as the one from PlayStation 3 DualShock, but it's still a pretty small fit in the hand. It feels comfortable. Whereas this one feels like there's a little bit more going on. Like where my fingers rest on my controller, they in the creases, they do feel comfortable. And this seems a little bit more blocky.
Yeah, it's a lot more curved, and it looks like a boomerang in a way.
Yeah, that's I totally see that.
And although it does retain the features of the DualShock 4, some new features include a microphone button. Sorry, not a microphone button. There's a microphone port on the bottom.
I think the Sorry, I confused myself. I think there's already a port on the bottom for a headset, though.
Correct,
of
but there
of a DualShock 4.
in the DualSense controller, there's a microphone built into the controller.
I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's like I guess a mute button. From what the blog post says that you can talk to other players using your microphone built into your controller, and then I think there's a mute button as well, which is kind of interesting. And
Okay.
instead of the share button, there's a create button. Instead of a start button, there's like what looks like 3 lines. It's USB-C.
Which are basically going to be the same thing, right?
Yeah, it's start and select.
Yeah.
Create is sharing, the media that you have is still the same thing. And it's instead of micro USB on the back, it is of course USB-C, which is becoming the standard now. So I mean, I'm glad that it has all these interesting features. The microphone part kind of worries me because like, how much information is Sony going to collect from you using when you're talking to your friends, or you're talking to yourself, or you're just talking to someone in the room that's not through the microphone, like despite it being
they've
on
already
mute.
figured it out. They've already figured out a way to record us a long time ago.
Targeted ads is all I'm gonna say.
Targeted ads.
I'm already see that's the biggest gripe that I have with this controller is the microphone button. I'm like, you're invading people's privacy. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the design. What do you think about the two-tone color of the
I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like I said, this looks like a prototype more than an actual PlayStation controller. Here's my thing. I think this would look great if it was all black, like a traditional PlayStation controller, or if it was all white. Like if they showed like a very clean all white one with the blue black light coming from the trackpad and blue light coming from like say the D-pad and all these other parts, I would have been like, oh shit, this is actually pretty sleek and really pretty. But it's got a weird two-tone blockiness going on with it that I'm not a fan of, and I'm not gonna lie, Jeremy, it triggers me.
I see what you did there. No, but like, I totally get it. I'm not a huge fan of just the look of it. I don't think it's gonna feel right in the palms of my hands when I'm playing with it. I mean, here's to hoping they go back to the original design for the next controller. Like, I don't know if this is gonna be the final. What's it called? I know that they haven't changed the DualShock since the PlayStation 2, right? And throughout the whole PS4's lifetime, it's always been the same controller. But do you think that people will outcry enough that it'll be reverting back to the original design? Do you think they'll have an option to make it look like the DualShock, like classic?
That definitely, there's going to be some custom controllers. I don't think that they're changing the design at this point. I can see an argument of them making solid color controllers just because I think it's going to be very requested. But in terms of controllers that have the same curvature and the same feeling as a DualShock 3 or a DualShock 4, I think it's going to come from custom companies.
I see. No, that makes a lot of sense.
And that being said, looking at this controller in terms of what's featured, it pretty much has the same exact stuff as you had in the PlayStation 4. I don't necessarily think there's anything drastically different in terms of the D-pad and like start select buttons, aside from the fact that they renamed it again, which doesn't make a difference.
I wish they just called it DualShock 5, honestly.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie, that bothers me because the little things bother me.
Yes,
I'm so picky about it, but I'm going to be bothered if PlayStation 6 comes out and there's a DualSense 2. Because in my heart, I'm like, no, this is the 6th PlayStation. You can't do this right now.
You keep the name of the console, but not the name of the controller? How dare you?
I know, how dare you? How dare you? So.
And then the executives at Sony are like, what's the problem? You're going to buy it anyways. You're like, you're fucking right. Of course I am. Of course I am. But I hate you for doing this. Because I know I am. I'm still going to buy the PS5 again. Like, I think we both agree, Alyssa. We're both going to buy it still. but we're gonna wait.
Oh, we're still
Despite the
this is
controller
still
looking like
happening.
this, we're still gonna wait. Yeah, exactly. The more I look at it, it looks like an alien.
Yeah. But which matches the current look of the dev kit for the PlayStation 5, which also looks like a alien ship. So
Why are they going with this theme?
I guess yeah. My one last comment about this is I'm surprised they kept the trackpad on this controller because the trackpad, I feel like the trackpad had an original intention of like you'd be able to draw on it. And to be fair, there's actually quite a few things that you could use a trackpad for in some games, but majority of games that I've played, the trackpad is used just like it's a big button to show the map, but you're not actually like drawing your finger on it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder the fact that they kept the trackpad if they're trying to implement something. Or like have the trackpad more heavily used.
Because like I didn't really use it for a lot of things.
Yeah. Exactly, me neither. It's just the button to open up the map.
I'll be honest, I only used it for baseball in the Yakuza games because it was easier to what is it called? It was more accurate to use that to hit the squares for the balls in baseball.
Off the top of my head, the only game that I think this trackpad was used for was Okami, but I don't even remember right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and which is actually like a great way to draw in that game. Was it used in Concrete Genie 2? I don't remember anymore, but there's a lot of notes about how this new controller is going to have more haptics, so just probably more rumble and a bunch of other things to enhance your gameplay. But
yeah.
Are we missing anything else?
Okay, we talked about the microphone, USB-C, the share button. There's like a start button. I don't know. That's about it. I mean, the last thing would be like holding it.
Yeah, I like I said, this looks thicker. The side image of it looks thicker than what I'm looking at with my current controller. So. Mm-hmm. I guess really we'll find out when I buy one in 2 years.
Speaking of controllers and kind of moving off of that tangent, so I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing, as everyone knows. We both have, and the Joy-Cons they feel nice. They feel okay. They're not the perfect things. So I recently bought a Nintendo Switch Pro controller. And
okay.
My whole world has changed.
Is it a lot easier now to play with?
The controller has a little bit of weight to it. It feels nice when I'm holding it. It like, I have bigger hands, so when I'm playing with the controller, like it feels much better. I do have like, the little controller option where you can stick the two Joy-Cons into that like that controller mount looking thing for your Switch. I know you probably don't have it because you have the light version, Alyssa.
I have light.
The original Nintendo Switch console came with this like controller holder, and you can like put two Joy-Cons into it and it'll feel and look like a controller. And I was using that for the longest time because I play a lot of Animal Crossing on my TV, and it felt okay, but at the same time I felt like it was just missing something, and I just wanted to know what a Pro controller felt like because I never held one at that point. So I recently bought one from Amazon. It came in, and I picked it up and I started playing with it, and I was like, holy shit, my whole world changed. I should have been using a Pro controller from the beginning. Let's put it that way. And if anyone out there that is listening and already owns a Pro controller, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, and you play your Switch a lot on your TV and you're using Joy-Cons, let me just tell you, invest in a Pro controller. You're not going to regret it. It's awesome. The controller is like $50-$60.
Is your controller a Nintendo controller or it's custom?
It's a Nintendo. It's officially Nintendo licensed. It's a Nintendo controller from Nintendo.
Got it.
It has and it's got all the buttons. It's got the home button. It's got the minus, the plus button. It's got the screenshot button. So it's got all the buttons you need for playing on a Switch because it's a Switch Pro controller. You charge it for 6 hours. It lasts for 40 hours, supposedly. I'm still trying to test that. and it's beautiful. I love the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. I think everyone should get one, especially if you play on your TV while you're sitting on your couch.
Yeah. Very cool.
And yeah, other than that, just playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Today's Bunny Day, so I finally did all the bunny recipes, and I talked to Zipper, the rabbit, and
all of them.
Well, not all the outfits, just all the necessary ones. You have to do 18 of them, and he'll give you the arch. So I did the arch, and he's like, "All right, I need you to make one more thing for me." And I was like, "All right." And then I made like a wobbly toy, and I was like, "This is weird." And he's like, "All right, here's your prize. After crafting all that stuff, this is what you get." And it's a bunny wand, and I wanted to stab him so badly. I made all this for you.
But is the bunny wand any special?
No, it's not. It just looks like it's just a bunny. Yeah, that's just a regular wand that looks like a bunny, and I wanted to. Oh my god! After that, I just took out my net and like hit him in the head for like 5 minutes. I was like so angry. I was like, "You piece of shit! I worked day and night to make these fucking recipes, and I hate bunny. I already hated Bunny Day at that point, and I was like, oh my god! And this is what you gave. And even when he gave me the recipe for the wand, he's like, I know it's not much, but I hope it's a lot to you. I'm like, no, it's not. You should have gave me money.
Oh god,
you fucking piece of shit. I just kept hitting him. I was just hitting him over and over again. I was like, I fucking hate you. Leave my town. Don't come back next year.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Now, with the whole Bunny Day situation, this morning when I talked to Zipper, I got the arch, but then I just didn't do anything with the arch. I just went straight to fishing to try to make my money and make my bells. So I had no idea that making an arch would actually lead to making a bunny wand or whatever. And that makes me sad as a person.
It's not worth it. It's a terrible reward. You know, as a child, I'd probably be like, oh, this is awesome. I can collect all the wands. As an adult, I'm like, this is terrible. I have to collect all the wands.
At least these eggs can make a lot of bank when you sell them.
I know, right?
That's the only consolation I have for you, Jeremy.
Yeah, well, it is what it is.
It is what it is. That being said, my Animal Crossing update is my island is now officially 2 stars, and
hey.
It's not much, but hey, I'm getting there. But also, because I'm such a casual, Jeremy, I had no idea that you're supposed to talk to the dog. I forgot her name.
Isabel?
I didn't know Isabel. I didn't realize that you're supposed to talk to the dog, and the dog tells you how to increase your stars, and then that's like what you do to increase your stars. This whole time to get 2 stars, I was just literally doing random shit. Like I was adding more bridges. I added another house. Like I finally got to Bamboo Island, got bamboo, and I recruited the person who lived on Bamboo Island to live on my place. Nice. And I planted more flowers. I put more furniture and outdoor furniture out, and I did all of this stuff, and I got to 2 stars, and I was like, cool. And then when I talked to her, I learned for the first time that I could have just talked to her from the beginning and do exactly what she said. But my place is pretty, so I don't care right now. But that was one of my I might throw my Switch moments when she told me that.
And you're like, God damn it.
And then I was like, God damn it. But the reason is because I'm trying to play this game without looking up a lot of the stuff. So that's why I haven't been really I'm discovering as I go. So
no, that's totally fine. I think that's a very fair way to play it. Like in my case, I usually base everything that I know off of previous experiences playing the other games. So that's why I can kind of determine how things will be. A lot of things are, of course, different than what I thought they would be with the whole crafting mechanic and the way that some of the mechanics in the game work that are, of course, either better or different from previous versions. So it's a whole learning experience for me as well.
Yes. They like really the only advice that I actually learn is like from you or from my other friends playing the game. But like I said, I haven't been like looking things up necessarily, but it's part of my fun. So it's all
Yeah.
good in the hood.
Nothing wrong with, not looking anything up, and there's nothing wrong with looking stuff up because there's thousands of articles
Yes.
because everyone is playing this
Exactly.
game.
Everyone's playing Animal Crossing, so
Yeah. It was funny because Microsoft tweeted like Xbox outfits for Animal Crossing on their official
Xbox
Twitter.
outfits. What does that even mean?
Basically
Jeremy?
like an Xbox sweatshirt and an Xbox shirt that the Microsoft team designed, or like the Xbox team designed in Animal Crossing, and
Oh
they
gosh.
shared the codes on their official Twitter.
Oh, I see.
I was like, what the hell? Literally
Hey.
everyone is playing it.
Hey, even the Xbox devs, they know.
Yeah, it's true. They really do know. They know what's up.
Oh yeah. And then, so as you all know, I am not playing Final Fantasy VII the remake, but I did want to give some updates to our viewers who are who are questioning whether or not they should buy this game. Also, it goes to you, Jeremy, because you've never played Final Fantasy VII before. But if you recall me on a previous podcast, I feel like this is a great game to play if you've never played Final Fantasy VII before, just because you don't know what to expect. And as a person, and for me, as a person who's played it before, I feel less motivated to play this because I know that this is not the entire game.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, after looking up some clips on YouTube, I want to talk about the things that are different in this remake versus the original game. And after finding out these things in the remake, I think it gives more incentive for a person who's never played this to buy it, actually. Like, I think the game is a lot more fleshed out than I even imagined it to be. So, one of the few things that I think is important and that I think is vastly improved is because we have dub now, you can see a lot of the relationships of this game formulate a lot better than in the original game, which of course is had subtitles. So for example, I've seen quite a few clips already of the meeting between Aerith and Cloud, and the first time that the two of them talk and a lot of their storyline. And I think that it's really well done in the remake game for sure. And just to give a shout out, I think that the voice actors that they chose for the English dub, so Cody Christian and Brianna White for Cloud and Aerith, are very good, and I think add a lot of personality to characters like Aerith, who you didn't see much of in Final Fantasy VII, but definitely if you play the remake, like, I think she's a very likable character, like, even more likable than she was in Final Fantasy VII. And even Cloud, honestly. Like, because Cloud, you can only gauge so much from a kind of like not a deadpan character, but from a character who's much more reserved in a game that has no dubs. But now that the remake has voice to everyone, like Barrett and Tifa, I just think that, and Sephiroth, this is just definitely I would choose to play this game over the original game if you've never played it before.
Ah, interesting.
Yes. And going into my next topic, the soundtrack is great. I think that a lot of the remakes of the original songs, such as the Midgar song, are awesome. A lot of the new songs are not updates, but remixes, I guess. So it's like legit like some techno or jazz remixes of old Final Fantasy VII soundtrack songs, which is fun. I think it adds flair to a game made in 2020 or released in 2020.
Nice.
And The one surprising thing, so I wanted to give a shout out to one of my favorite podcasters. His name is Max Scoville of IGN. So I was listening to his podcast, and he was talking on Beyond that Final Fantasy VII feels more like a Yakuza game than a traditional Square Enix game.
Huh.
And after he said that, I looked it up because I was thinking, wait, what do you mean by that? And this game has quite a few mini games that are really off the beat.
Huh.
And, like, for example, Jeremy.
Uh-huh.
What if I told you there was a squatting minigame?
Squatting minigame?
So I watched the video a few days ago. So one of the side quests, you go to a training hall and you're supposed to talk to the head trainer. His name's Jules, and he has one of his fighters, Ronnie, challenge you to a squat off. And I kid you not, Jeremy, it's a rhythm game for squatting.
Okay.
Like, you just press, like, you freaking press triangle, circle, X, and square, like, to get your squats in. And you just have to get as many squats as possible versus the fighter. And there's also a dancing minigame that I saw where Cloud is in, like, some freaking, like, club or something called Honeybee, and he's performing on stage with some random person, and I don't even know the context of it, but there is a dancing game, and there's darts, so you can go to a bar in Final Fantasy VII and play darts.
This sounds like Yakuza 0.
This is exactly like Yakuza, which is wild, and like. I don't necessarily know if Square Enix is taking direct inspiration from the Yakuza franchise and and Judgment, or if this is like now becoming a very common thing with Japanese games where you have so many interesting mini games and side quests you can do.
Mm.
And then I think my favorite clip that I saw from this game is Aerith and Cloud. I don't know if this is a minigame or direct to the storyline, but they go to a hand massage parlor.
Okay.
And they go to a hand massage parlor, and the madame there legit gives Cloud a hand massage. And it's not what you think. It's like actually she's massaging his hand.
Uh-huh.
And although I will say, like, when I watched the clip, it implied a lot of things, but I don't even know because I think Final Fantasy the remake is not supposed to be mature. Like, I think it's like I don't know what that rating is, but yeah, that was a really interesting cutscene seeing Cloud at a hand massage parlor. So this game there's a lot of non-serious things about this game. Like, they added, like, there's so much new side stuff you can do, which I think is actually great. And I think adds a bit more to the argument of why you should play Final Fantasy VII, the remake, versus the original one.
I might be comparing it to Yakuza too much, but, I mean, I'm down to check it out.
Yeah. I might watch a few more videos of it, but I'm just really surprised by how much random shit is in this game.
Huh.
But I think that it's cool, and from everything that I've seen so far, like, people are already enjoying this a lot more than Final Fantasy 15. But I think it's also because, like, the thing with Final Fantasy 7 the remake is it takes things from Final Fantasy 15 and improves it. But that's my spiel right now of what I learned about Final Fantasy 7 the remake. It seems actually pretty cool from what I've seen so far, and definitely worth checking out, and for new fans for sure.
Okay, thank you so much. I mean, I'm definitely gonna check it out once it goes on sale. I'm not gonna pick it up immediately.
Yeah, for sure.
So we have one comment from Fall Guy 27 on our episode 133, Side Quests Animal Crossing New Horizons. This is the episode where Alyssa and I went to each other's towns, playing Animal Crossing in the game, and also trying to do an audio podcast at the same time, and there was a slight interruption. So Fall Guy's comment is, cool podcast, how come you guys only sat there and didn't go around, and why didn't you let your friend play? Well, so the reason why we didn't want to go anywhere is because I wanted to keep this both a video and audio podcast, but I realized it was very hard to do both at the same time. Half of it, as I described in the podcast, was in the game, and the other half was trying to be a regular audio podcast. I wanted to minimize as much noise as possible for the video listeners. That's why we sat in a room and didn't really have any background noise or any music playing in the background. All my other rooms kind of did, but for that one room, I didn't have anything happening in the background because I wanted to have just flat noise and just us talking and not be distracted by anything. And I didn't go around my town a lot because there wasn't really much to speak about, although now I did update my town a lot since the last time we recorded, and it looks a lot better. So hopefully when we do this again, I will show you guys my town and how beautiful it looks. And Alyssa, I think you'll really like it. And I didn't let my friend play because she just came in unannounced, and it was really... I did not expect anyone to come in except for Alyssa, and I didn't want anyone to come in, and it was my biggest fear that someone would interrupt our podcast in the middle of it. So that it was like the let's play part of the podcast that was just like, oh, unforeseen circumstances. And it wasn't really good for the audio listeners to just be like, what's going on? Why are they just... Well, I wish I could see what was happening. So yeah, again, this is more of a YouTube watch us talk and listen and all that jazz while we play Animal Crossing.
Yes.
And yeah, so Fall Guy, thank you again for your comment. I promise that I will show more of my town next time we record. I'm currently moving things around in my town in Animal Crossing, so when that is all done and said, I will show you guys what it looks like, because I'm really proud of it. I took a long time. I took like over a week and a half just to fix the look of the town and the layout. So Alyssa, I really want you to see it. I can't wait.
I think mine looks a lot better too, although like I don't have Terraform or any of that yet, but it's getting there. It's getting there.
Hey, you take this game at your own pace. It's all good.
Yes. And thanks for the comment.
Yeah.
I guess we got to do more of this then.
Yeah, I know. I am down to do it next week, but I need to fix my town first. I'm still fixing everything.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah. Anything else?
Nope. I think that's it for now. If you enjoyed this podcast, send us a review on Apple Podcasts and we'll read it out for you. If you have any questions or comments, you can email us at contact@Downtime.Live. You can go to www.Downtime.Live to enter in a question on our forum, or click on the Discord link there and in the description of this podcast, and you can join our Discord. You can leave a comment anywhere where this podcast is uploaded, so YouTube, Stitcher, Podbean, and you can even add us at Twitter, wherever we have downtime, and we will respond to your comment. And yeah, I think a few random things before we end this podcast and go into credits. I have a list from Kotaku Australia of 10 gaming Easter eggs, because it is formally Easter in the United States.
Hey.
So, Star Wars Rebel Assault, hit Alt-V during a cutscene and type OV-res for a Easter egg. In Dark Souls, after unlocking an elevator, traveling to a broken roof, running over some beams, you can squat and pretend to be an egg. Wait long enough and a raven will fly past, pick you up, and drop you off at an asylum. Okay, that's pretty interesting.
Okay.
That's a pretty interesting Easter egg. Yeah. NBA Jam. Let's see what this one is.
Come on and slam.
Oh, Will Smith is a secret character of NBA Jam Tournament Edition,
as
well as Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, and Al Gore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3. Oh, interesting. What's this one? Fight, boss, or pro normal. You could simply save the game after a boss fight begins and turn off your console. If you don't return to the game for a week, you simply move forward in time. Wow. Okay, so you can completely skip bosses.
Wow.
In Metal Gear Solid 3. Doom 2. So you can shoot the head of heads of like the main designers of the game.
That's pretty
Seems
cool.
to be this one. The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. When you dig some holes, then there's some things that pop up. So it feels more like a Easter egg. Trials Evolution. There's a riddle for a 4-year-old game that involved finding planks of wood in the game and then translating the cipher code to uncover instructions that locked a hidden song in the game. Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Boganella, the talking shotgun from the locally made Borderlands, is a stereotype compressed into the body of a pump-action shotgun. I don't know what that one means.
That's just a bunch of words.
I know. And then, let's see, Diablo 2. Let's see what this one is there's a bovine hellhole in this game.
Okay. And
then the last one seems to be Mortal Kombat, but the cabinet edition of it So the debug menu in the original Mortal Kombat arcade cabinets lay hidden for over 2 decades before finally being uncovered late last year. And the menus range from diagnostic tests, the ability of every fatality, and coin bookkeeping. And so those are all the random Easter eggs that they have on here, written by Alex Walker of Kotaku Australia.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hey, gotta celebrate Easter somehow.
Video game related? That's beautiful. That's perfect.
Yup. All right. Peace, everyone. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, y'all. See ya.